Welcome to round one of the 2022 Northern Talent Cup here at Le Mans, a world-famous venue nestled around 200 kilometres west of France's capital city of Paris, and it's a circuit steeped in 2- and 4-wheel motorsport history. And for the second year running, the classic 4.2-kilometre layout hosts the first two races of the season for some of Europe's potential future World Championship stars. My name is Elliot York, and joining me for race one today and race two tomorrow afternoon is my good friend and colleague Chris Jordan as we gear up to get the second Northern Talent Cup campaign underway after a fascinating year in 2021. The riders have come into round one having completed 2 test days. You're seeing highlights from it here at Oschersleben in the middle of April, about a month ago now. Over in Germany, and it was a test that was topped by Dustin Schneider, who shortly we'll be seeing line up on the front row of the grid after a very warm qualifying session yesterday afternoon. As you can see, conditions are, well, beautiful to be honest. They have been all weekend, but they might change tomorrow, so this might be the last chance the Northern Talent Cup riders get some dry running here in Le Mans. But Chris, after a great 2021 season, how are you doing first of all, and how excited are you to get round one underway here at the fantastic Le Mans Bugatti circuit?
I am very well, Elliot, and thanks for that lovely introduction. And I'm also very excited to see what the next generation of riders is going to bring to the Northern Talent Cup. There's certainly a lot of talent out there this year, with a great blend of rookie riders and experience within the Cup. I believe Dustin Schneider you mentioned, and he certainly looks an exciting prospect for the season ahead given his pre-season form. He came out on top of the race simulation back in Oschersleben, as well as recording the fastest lap on day one of that test, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do on the opening day of this year's championship. He's not the only one though I'm going to keep an eye on. Rossi Moore starts on pole position after an excellent qualifying. The Hungarian finished third in last year's championship, and I'm sure he'll be looking to assert his dominance on the opening race of this season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. Back-to-back poles for Rossi Moore, because he was on pole here last year in his rookie season, but the races didn't quite go his way. Very tricky conditions, the complete opposite of what we've seen in qualifying, free practice, and now ahead of race one. There he is, the number 92, Rossi Moore, into his second season now of Northern Talent Cup action. Just missed out on the title last year, finished third. He's the front runner, let's say, in the Cup, because he's the leader from last year that is still in the Cup. I'm getting my words mixed up already. So third last year, 3 wins, so he's got race-winning pedigree. That was in his rookie season, so you'd say that Rossi Moore comes into this year in 2022 as the title favourite, but as we know, we can't really tip title favourites before we've seen a race. So Rossi Moore on pole. Lining up next to him, Chris, is Loris Veneman, the number 77.
Absolutely, he's another guy with some NTC experience on the front row. He picked up 79 points last season on his way to a P12 championship finish. He's actually changed his number this season, I don't know if you know. He was number 27, he's moved up to number 77.
I didn't know that, no, so yeah, good info there, Chris. Yeah, number 77. Second on the grid, 12th last season in the Northern Talent Cup. P2 is his best result, and that was claimed at the final round in Austria at the end of 2021. And starting second on the grids, he'll be hoping he can beat second place and beat Rossi Moore and his other competitors to claim his first victory in the Northern Talent Cup. I heard the interviews done yesterday with our good friend Oliver Seeley, who's here with the Northern Talent Cup guys, and all 3 of the front row were sounding very confident after qualifying. They've all got great pace. They're all very happy with front row starts, as you can imagine. And conditions are probably a little bit cooler, I have to say. I didn't quite check the temperatures, but the sun was really beaming down, especially on the home straight. Yesterday when I walked down into the pit lane for qualifying. A little bit cooler today, probably better conditions. They all seemed a little bit tired and a little bit worn out, which you can understand because conditions here this weekend have been, well, stunning really. Not like Le Mans at all. We all came here this weekend for obviously the MotoGP, Moto E and Northern Talent Cup races. Expecting typical Northern France Le Mans weather in May. Rain, cold, wind, maybe the odd bit of sunshine, but so far, so good.
Yeah, so far so good in terms of the conditions. As you said, we're used to seeing a bit of rain, some mixed conditions on track, which makes for difficult conditions naturally for riders. So it makes a welcome change, I must say.
So third on the grid then is Dustin Schneider, the number 20. He was the fastest man, like I mentioned before, in pre-season. He was 16th overall in 2021 and picked up a best result of P5. And incidentally, that was right here at Le Mans. He also got a 5th place finish at the Red Bull Ring as well. There's Loris Veneman, the number 77. Just leaning up against his bike, looking very cool, calm and collected ahead of the race. We'll just run you through the second row of the grid as well, and leading that is Tibor Varga, the number 44 rider from Hungary. 14th last year, a best of P3 at the final round, also in Austria. And then, yeah, just a bit of housekeeping. So at the bottom of your screen there, you'll see the ticker, number 46 Masili, number 22 Pilipenko, speeding in the pit lane during qualifying, so they have a 3-grid position penalty. Masili qualified in 6th, which means he's now dropped down to 9th place, and Pilipenko was 16th, so he will now start 19th.
That's right, Matteo Masili. He's looked impressive all weekend for his rookie year, qualifying 6th. Granted, he's been handed with a 3-place grid penalty, but to get into the top 6 on your first outing in Le Mans, it's quite an achievement in itself. Just starting ahead of him, or finishing ahead of him in qualifying, is Noel Kuipers, the Dutch rider. His French GP was his best run of form last year with a P11 and P12 finish, and I would imagine he's hoping to take the next step this season and finally get himself onto the podium in the NTC.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuipers starting from the middle of the second row, and benefiting from Masili's penalty is Lennox Famara, who qualified 7th but moves up a row on the grid to 6th place. He was 7th last year, a top 10 finisher in the Northern Talent Cup, and he also finished on the podium in Austria in 2nd place, but he missed the final 2 rounds through a left arm or left wrist injury. So he'll be hoping from the second row of the grid he can battle it out for the podium. And the podium guys were saying, the front row guys were saying yesterday, as you just get ready to see the grid, that they expect a fair few riders to be at the front. So then here is the full rundown of the grid again. So row 1 is Rossi Moore, followed by Loris Veneman and Dustin Schneider. Row 2 is Varga, Kuipers and Famara, who we've just mentioned. 7th is Kevin Farkas, along with Jurien van Krutgen and Matteo Masili after that penalty.
Yes, coming in at 10th, it's Valentino Herlach with Hungarian rider Vinca, joined by Schmidt, Swiss rider in number 12. Luca Gottlicher, Rocco Seltzer and Kilian Holzer make up the 5th row, while Sidorov, Koenen and Novotny are in the 6th.
Pilipenko after that penalty is P19 ahead of Loris Dekkers and Rio Olsson. Laszlo Lorink, Mikel Prokes and Levin Famara are 22nd, 23rd and 24th. Levin is the younger brother of Lennox Famara.
Yeah, and just to touch on Lennox Famara, he is a rider I'll certainly be keeping an eye on throughout the season. As you mentioned, he missed out on the last couple of races due to injury, but prior to that he was actually part of some great battles with the front runners last year, and I'd expect him to pick up where he left off coming into 2022.
So then the riders round the famous Dunlop chicane, turns 3 and 4. If you're not familiar with Le Mans, turns what you'd think is 2 and 3 is actually 3 and 4, because the first right-hander is technically 2 corners. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just how it is. The Dunlop curve, and then they'll come down through 5 under the Dunlop bridge down to La Chapelle and then up into turn 7. This has been quite a tricky corner this weekend for a lot of the MotoGP riders, Moto 2 and Moto 3. We've seen a lot of crashes there. It's easy to lose temperature in the front tyre, especially on the left-hand side, as we see the weather forecast. As I was saying before, it's absolutely beautiful, pretty much perfect. You don't really want it much warmer than 27 degrees while you're walking around in a long-sleeve shirt and trousers in the paddock. Yeah, perfect conditions for these guys, really, and hopefully we'll have a great race, Chris.
Absolutely. Here's hoping for an excellent race, a typical NTC race with plenty of action, plenty of overtaking, and naturally plenty of drama. As we watch them finish the warm-up lap, we're over in towards the final sectors now.
Certainly are then. So they'll come round to the final sector. Great to see plenty of fans actually staying around for the Northern Talent Cup. We're expecting, I think, 110,000, I think I read, for Sunday's race tomorrow, which is absolutely fantastic. Normality restored, you can see there at the back, Zarco and Fabio, the home heroes, of course, in MotoGP, but great to see the fans sticking around to see some of Europe's brightest future prospects hopefully making their way up into the World Championship.
Absolutely. The entire circuit has been a buzz all weekend, and long may it continue.
There he is then, the poleman, Rossi Moore. He'll be hoping to get a good start and make it further round than he did in race 1 last year, when he made it just to turn 4, starting from pole, and took the front in tricky conditions. So let's hope Rossi Moore makes it further round than that. He'll be hoping so. The line up on the grids, the red flag will be removed, and then shortly we will be underway for round 1 of the 2022 season. The final riders there just pulling up to their markers. Someone's got a problem there. The number 41 of Loris Deckers, that is, just having to pull away to the side. So not sure what's happened there. It doesn't look like he's stalled it, because he's still, maybe he's just overshot his marker a little bit. So hopefully we can get Deckers into his marker. There he is on his grid slot, and the green flag will wave then, so no problems. Here we go then. Race 1, round 1 of the 2022 Northern Talent Cup season. Watch out for the red lights at the top left corner of your screen. And we are underway here in 2022. It looks like a good start for all 3 of your front row men. Rossi Moore just pulling across there to cover them off, and he does so expertly. Rossi Moore then, will he get the whole shot into turns 1, 2 and 3? It doesn't look like he will, because it's the number 28 coming round the outside and up the inside. No, Rossi Moore's going to hold it. Well played, Rossi Moore. Oh, there's drama in the background there. Plenty of crashes. We did mention that there was drama there. Hopefully everyone's okay.
We've got 4 bikes down there. I'm not quite sure who is there just yet, but I have to mention Tibor Varga has had an excellent start, I believe, from 2nd row. He's already pushed himself up into 4th place.
It was Kevin Farkas, number 28, from the 3rd row of the grid, who made an excellent start. Let's just hope that all riders down there okay. Didn't quite see who it was. The timing screens haven't updated just yet, but it's a great start then for your poleman, Rossi Moore. We mentioned that he crashed out in the first lap. So the first corner, that was close for Dustin Schneider there, number 20, getting on the grass. You don't want to be doing that. But yeah, Rossi Moore getting a fantastic start from pole.
Yeah, Dustin Schneider playing it fast and loose there. I think it's Killian Holzer, Joel Koenen and David Sidorov who have gone out of the race early. They have dropped down to the bottom of the timing screens.
Fingers crossed they're all okay. It didn't look too bad, but we'll keep you updated, of course, when we get information. So, more than halfway around the lap then, and who's that just going a little bit wide there? It was the number 28 of Farkas, who's made a fantastic start. Rossi Moore just conceding the lead there, but immediately taken back with Farkas going up the inside.
Yeah, we've got the lead group now of 6 riders, and they're going to try and start to bridge the gap to Matteo Massili. He started in 9th, but he's pushed himself back up into 7th, and he won't want to lose sight of this lead group as they begin to break away. Absolutely
right, Chris. And Rossi Moore there getting a great run out of the final corner. And what's the gap over the line? It's a good half a second, so a fantastic opening lap then for the number 92, Rossi Moore, as the number 44 of Varga battles it out for 2nd place, and he's got 2nd place all wrapped up there. But this is where it counts, into the left-hander, the very, very tricky left-hander of turn 3. Then they'll flick it right for turn 4, and the number 44 of Varga has made his way up into 2nd, and that little gap that Rossi Moore just opened on the opening lap has now vanquished as the yellow flags continue to wave there at the top for the crash. Let's hope all riders are okay. Holzer, the number 57, has entered the pits. It looks like he was involved in that first lap incident.
Yeah, Tibor Varga continues on from his excellent first lap. He's managed to reel in Rossi Moore as he looked to break away. And now we've Loris Veneman on their tail as well. Noah Kuipers just further back in 4th. Kevin Farkas, was in 5th, with Dustin Schneider currently in 6th.
This is what the front row predicted then early doors. They thought it was going to be quite a big group. They all said they had quite similar pace over long runs, as we see. I think that's the bike being moved, and then I think that's maybe a rider coming on the stretcher. So let's have a look then what happened. Here's a replay of the race start. As we mentioned, it was Rossi Moore from pole getting a good launch. So yeah, riders involved at the bottom of your screen. Holzer, Koenen, Pilyapenko and Herlich and Sidorov all involved. So there's turn 1, and then they'll flick it right through turn 2, and then here's where the drama happened into turn 3. We see this often at Le Mans, don't we? It's a very tight and tricky turn 3. So what happened there in the background just looks like the number 57 got it just on the curve, and then yeah, it just all sort of unfolded after that, didn't it? Let's just pray that all eyes are okay. There was one there just stuck under the bike, but
yes, I'm not quite sure who it is, but thoughts and prayers that he will be okay and be able to participate in the next race. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and just being a precaution.
Great lap then from the number 18 of Kuipers. He is now up into second place from 5th off the grid, and he's going around the outside to get the inside at turn 3. But Rossi Moore very late on the brakes there and makes the apex. So fantastic stuff there from Rossi Moore. New best race lap. That's not surprising because, as we mentioned previously in the programme, that last year's Le Mans races were wet. One of them was more wet than the other, but yeah, both very, very tricky conditions. So we're going to see the new best race lap, the all-time lap record in the Northern Talent Cup, get broke probably a few times if they're setting it already, as Kuipers has a little sneaky look up the inside into turn 7, but not quite this time around.
Yeah, you can see he certainly has the pace. It would have been wonderful if he could pull off that outside move, I should say, but he's probably taking a more traditional line and looking for the inside move, as Tibor Varga is now beginning to put the pressure onto Kuipers just behind him as well.
That's another tricky corner there, down into turn 8, the Garage Vert, the famous Garage Vert corner. Starting incident involving 41 Deckers under vacation. So that's what we saw at the start when Deckers looks like he just overshot his grid position and had to turn around and make his way back to the correct position. So that's under investigation. We'll of course bring you all the latest, as we've got a change at the lead. Well, we did have, and then Rossi Moore's just bit straight back. Yeah,
that's the experience and Moore there, just not biting too early. He's waiting for his moment to strike. Lets Kuipers just get ahead of him, but he times his run into the corner to perfection to maintain his lead.
So then Rossi Moore leads again. Fantastic race so far. And there's a lead group of, what's that, about 7 or 8 riders, I think. I can just count. We'll see over the line. Yeah, 8 riders down to Dustin Schneider, the number 20 at the back of that group with the German flag on his helmet. As Kuipers, the Belgian, goes round the outside, uses the slipstream to great effect and takes the lead into turns 1 and 2. Doesn't look like Rossi Moore can be that too late on the brakes to get back up the inside. So Rossi Moore vanquishes the lead once again, heading onto lap 3 of 15.
And just behind them, we can see Loris Veneman has moved up into the podium positions. He's taken advantage of Tibor Varga, while Martin Vincha has moved ahead of Kevin Farkas for 5th and 6th.
There we go, their new best race lap once again. So we're going to see that time tumble and tumble as the riders just get into their groove. It's the first race of the season. They've had obviously plenty of laps so far this weekend, but this is the first time it really counts, all bunched up together. They had a race simulation over in Ostleben, but it's not really the same, is it, when nothing really counts for anything, Chris? It's not really, you don't get the same feeling, let's say.
No, nothing really beats the real thing. You need to feel the moment, you need the nerves, you need the excitement, and you need to channel it all on the track to pull off a magnificent result, if not a magnificent race, I should say. And Noah Kuipers currently leads with Rossi Moore in 2nd.
Just trying to look what the gap back to 9th place Lennox Lamar is. It looks like it's just 1.5 seconds that was over the line, so we'll just keep an eye on that for you. But it's a lead group of 8. What a race we've got on our hands here as Rossi Moore goes up the inside once again at turn 11, and then they'll flick it left into turn 12. That's getting a little bit too close for come there between Kuipers and Rossi Moore, but Rossi Moore holds the outside line and he will have the lead, and that's the number 77 Dynamic Sign. That's Veneman. He started 2nd, remember, so he dropped back in the early exchanges and now he's back up to 3rd. So good stuff from the number 77 as we complete another lap here in Le Mans.
Yeah, it's been excellent stuff so far. A lot of chopping and changing, and I've no idea which way this is going to go. It could be any of those front 8 to take the win here.
Once again, I'd just like to say it is fantastic to see how many fans have stuck around to see the Northern Talent Cup riders battle it out. Kuipers there, just a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Rossi Moore to take the lead back as Lorik Sasaki taken to the medical centre for a checkup. I think that's the rider who we saw just getting stretchered away at the top of the hill there. So let's keep our fingers crossed that Sasaki is all okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Back at the front, we see Noah Kuipers. I think he's starting to put the foot down a little bit and build up an advantage over Loris Veneman even, and Rossi Moore then in 3rd. And just as I say that, he's gone a little bit wide, has he? And giving Veneman and Moore and the chasing pack a chance to reel them in.
Just a correction there, it's Lawrence Ladslow, not Sasaki. I did think that Sasaki isn't a name that I've seen in the Northern Talent Cup, so apologies for that mistake there as they exit again turn 8, and we've got a new leader then, the number 77 of Veneman now leads from the second position on the grid. He dropped back in the early exchanges, but he's regrouped well. But is he going to keep the lead for long? Because Rossi Moore pulls out the slipstream, pulls up the inside at turn 9, and then they'll flick it left. Right, sorry, for turn 10, and Rossi Moore isn't going to let anyone have the lead for long, is he? This is class stuff from the number 92. As you previously mentioned, Chris, that experience looking like it's paying off a little bit. He's used to winning races in the Northern Talent Cup, he's used to leading races in the Northern Talent Cup, and he's not letting anyone, if they come by, have the race lead for long and settle down into a nice rhythm.
Yeah, you don't win 3 races in this competition without being calm in the head and knowing what you're doing, and now he's going to take the lead once again. He's going to lead out over this lap, and he'll probably hold down for a little bit, hopefully hold off the challenges of Veneman and Kuipers as they come down the end of the straight.
Yeah, the leading 3 in qualifying all mentioned how important a slipstream is, and we can see it coming into effect there. It's not necessarily that much of a long straight, but on these smaller KTM 250 standard CC machines, we'll see it in the Moto3 class and in the lower classes, don't we, that slipstream is so important when trying to get a draft in, get as much speed as possible. It doesn't matter too much more when you get onto faster bikes, but in these smaller classes it really does help. And yeah, the top 3 in qualifying all mentioned that they were not necessarily looking for a toe in qualifying, but knew how important it was to get that, to try and get an advantage in qualifying, and obviously in the race as well. It's important to try and get tucked up behind your rival and get a slipstream.
Yeah, you just wonder how crucial it will be in this race with the front 8-9 riders perhaps. With the front 8-9 riders coming over that final corner, there'll be lots of slipstreams and lots of chopping and changing as they come down the front straight.
I think down here into turns 9 and 10 we're going to see a lot of action. Rossi Moore just pulls up to the inside, but that doesn't matter because Kuipers has just stormed round the outside using the slipstream to full effect, and he keeps it on the straight and narrow, doesn't run wide and holds the lead. And then he knows what Rossi Moore has done there before. Rossi Moore, well, he's done it before and he's trying to do it again, but Kuipers very good there on the brakes and holds it into turn 11, and he'll hold it into turn 12 as well. Is Rossi Moore going to have a dive up the inside at turns 13? I don't think he's quite close enough. He'll have to wait until the home straight to try and grab the lead back into turns 1, 2 and 3. But it's another lap completed, and we've got a new race leader, a different race leader than the previous lap. It's Kuipers leading from Rossi Moore.
Yeah, Kuipers did brilliantly there to shut the door on Rossi Moore as he tried to move up the inside on turn 10. Let's see if he can hold on now for the rest of this lap as they try to build a lead.
It's going to change all the time, isn't it, into turn 3. Rossi Moore absolutely brilliant on the brakes. You always think he's going to run a little bit wide there, but he's on the anchors superbly. As we see the riders jostling out in position, all of these guys, the top 8 it is, yeah, 1.3 seconds covering these guys, and then you just saw Luka Gottlicher coming over the hill 3.9 seconds behind.
That's it. There's a fascinating battle breaking out at front between Kuipers and Moore, but I am very much attracted to number in 5th place at the moment is Dustin Schneider. His livery is quite something else, and I haven't seen on a racetrack in a long time. I believe it's a goblin style livery. I don't know. It's quite a look, may we say.
I'll keep a lookout. Number 20, there you go. Chris said it here first. Have a look out for that livery as we see Kuipers going up the inside at Garage Vero, and he does hold on to it. Yes, he does. So that's a great move on the brakes to outbrake Rossi Moore. If you've seen at turn 3, is an absolute demon on the brakes. So that's a great move from the number 18 who leads the race once again. So Rossi Moore isn't having this all his own way, and he could lose second here if he's not too careful. But no, not quite this time around. Veneman just thinking maybe a little bit better of it. He's right tucked up behind Rossi Moore. Nothing needs to be desperate yet. We've still got 8 and a little bit to go. So Rossi Moore, as I was saying, that is starting to get a little bit impatient, you can imagine. He wants to lead this race quite obviously from the front.
Yeah, and as they come through there, we could see 3 abreast. They're all grappling for position, jostling for track position. It feels whoever's going to lead this race around this part might just have enough to hold on as we go over the line in the later laps. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. We've got to watch out for that, because if you're going to make a move at the final 2 corners, recorder 1 to 13, 14 isn't really an overtaking move unless you're absolutely going to stuff someone up the inside. 13 is an overtaking opportunity, but you've got to be really late on the brakes and really late on the brakes. There's several riders, one wide there, a couple there. Yeah, you can't run wide and then not give back the position, so well played there. That was number 20, Dustin Snyder, the front row starter. But yeah, as I was saying, the number 77 of Veneman, great on the brakes there to dive up the inside and take the lead. He looked like he was a little bit wide down into La Chapelle, turn 6, but as we fire up the hill and pan back, it looks like the number 77 is just holding on to the lead, and that's Kuipers now having a look at the inside, but not quite this time around. What a race we've got on our hands, Chris. Absolutely
thrilling stuff. Rossi Moore, I think we're going to see it here now. He was a sandwich between Kuipers and Veneman as they both fought for the lead. Brilliant stuff by number 77 Veneman to push into the inside while... Yeah, and as we see it, he squeezes around left. Rossi Moore fights back to make sure he doesn't drop to 3rd position and stays in 2nd, while he's now back in the lead.
Very, very classy move. We see that all so often, don't we? But 3 abreast into there, that's very, very brave. So then here we go down into turn 9 once again, and it's Kuipers that leads the way on the number 18. Now Rossi Moore is down to 3rd place, but this just here, the number... turn 11, I should say, corner, as he dives at the inside, is a favoured manoeuvre. So if he's not in the lead on the last couple of laps, you can bet your bottom dollar that Rossi Moore is going to have a look if he's not already passed at turns 11 and 12.
Yeah, absolutely, and he won't be the only rider having a look up the inside of turn 11. As you mentioned, it's one of the final overtaking spots, and with a group this close for the lead, you can imagine a lot of chopping and changing going on in the final few laps.
7 laps to go then, and this is still anyone's game in the opening race of Northern Talent Cup. This is a great testament to how great this competition is. Rossi Moore just getting some nice slipstream there. It's very, very tight going through turns 1 and 2. Who's going to be last of the late breakers? It's the number 18 of Kuipers who still leads the way, quite cautious through there. I think everyone's just trying to settle down, settle into a rhythm, and then it's going to be the last handful of laps where we're going to see some proper action. Oh, I've just been proved absolutely wrong as Veneman stuffs it up the inside down into turn 6 to take the lead.
Yeah, speaking of riders who seem to have settled into a rhythm, Tibor Varga has been holding on to 4th place. It looks like he's showing his little bit of class and experience, and he's just going to wait for the right time to strike to get into the podium positions. It could come on this lap, it might be the next one if he can hold on to 4th, I should say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So just running down who else we've got in this group. We've got Masili, the number 46, Schneider, the number 20, Vinci, the number 12, and Kevin Farkas, the number 28. Luke Gottlicher is 1.6 seconds off this group. But if they keep scrapping away, then Gottlicher certainly isn't out of the equation for the podium positions. Now, this is a great slow-mo of them coming around the final corners, turns 13 and 14, the famous Recordemont. There, they just passed the last corner, or the penultimate corner, I should say, for the famous 24-hour Le Mans circuit, and this is them firing their KTM machines up the front straight into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and just going a little bit further back behind Gottlicher, we've got Lennox Fomara. Excuse me, Lennox Fomara. I'll try not to butcher his name next time. And it may be slightly disappointing. He would have been hoping to be part of this lead group as he kicks off his 2022 campaign.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm doing it now. A little bit disappointing for Lennox Farm. We'll have to see. I know he was injured at the end of last year, so I'm not sure if that's still coming into effect for him. We'll have to speak to him after the race or at some point over the weekend to see what the problem is. But yeah, a little bit disappointing for Famara, but 10th, top 10, good points on the board, opening round at Le Mans. Again, it's very, very close there. 6 laps to go now. It's starting to get a little bit argy-bargy in the group. Riders running wide onto the green. We've got to look out for that. You don't want to be touching the green too much because you'll end up having to take a long lap penalty. So the riders don't want to be doing that too often, but having no such problems out front at the minute is Veneman, who has taken the lead from Rossi Moore in 2nd and Kuipers now in 3rd. They've got a little bit of a gap, but we've seen that happen a couple of times this race, and it seems to just get reeled back in with the slipstream effect coming into play. That's the number 44 of Varga in 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Masili in 5th place after that 3-place grid penalty.
And now, speaking of long lap penalties for exceeding track limits, well, he took more of a track limit and he took a shortcut, I should say, at turn 10. Dustin Schneider's been handed with a long lap penalty.
Yeah, that's the incident we saw, isn't it, a couple of laps ago when a couple of them ran wide. I assume it, oh no, turn 4, sorry. Yes, so turn 3 is the left-hander, yeah. So turn 4. So yeah, that's the right-hander as they flick it right after turn 3 at the chicane going over the Dunlop Bridge. So yeah, Schneider's got a long lap penalty. We were just saying that. Incidentally, the long lap penalty is down at turns 8, so look out for that down at garage there. So it's Rossi Moore then, leading once again from Veneman. This is going to go right to the end, isn't it, with Kuipers in third. These three have been hammer and tong now for 3 or 4 laps, and it looks like they've just got a little bit of an edge on the rest of them, unless the number 44, for example, of Varga. Farkas, the number 28, is now 5th. Masili, the number 46, is in 6th place as they go 3 abreast now into turns 1 and 2. That's getting very, very close for comfort. Rossi Moore on the inside. Number 7 of Veneman has now been shoved down to 3rd place as Rossi Moore again very good on the brakes there, but it's now Kuipers leading the way once again as we focus in on the number 3 Gottlicher. He has now set the fastest lap of the race, and then, like we said a couple of laps ago, Chris, he's now in the group that's fighting for victory. Fantastic stuff from Gottlicher in 9th place.
Yeah, if he keeps this pace up, he'll be within the podium battle within a few laps, I would imagine, because the front 3, the battling has been, as you said, it's been hammer and tongs, but it's been clean, it's been fun, it's been really, really good and really, really entertaining to watch. Just behind, again, he's unmissable in that bright orange, and the number 44 Tibor Varga. I really feel he's just biding his time, and he's going to wait for his moment to strike in the next couple laps. And just as I say that, I give him the commentator's curse, and Kevin Farkas moves through on him.
There you go, Chris. There's your first one, the commentator's curse. One of many, let's assure you of that. So, yeah, Gottlicher, his fastest lap of the race is a good couple of tenths quicker than anyone has been. So, yeah, like we said before, the scrapping away in the lead group, we see this so many times, don't we, when riders are trying to catch up, especially in Moto 3. This is sort of like a typical Moto 3 race, isn't it? That was close between Kuipers and Rossi Moore there, but there he is, Rossi Moore going up the inside once again at turn 11, a favoured mover for the number 92. But yeah, we have a 9-rider strong battle now for the podium positions in the lead group with, well, I was going to say 5 laps to go, but as they round the lap, round the final 2 corners, they'll flick it right, pick it up slightly, flick it right again, and then we'll only have 4 laps to go in race 1 here in Northern Talent Cup 2022, and what a race it is.
What a race it is, and 4 of the riders in previous lap 4 of the top 6 riders have set their fastest lap of the race, so the pace is just getting better and better. Martin Vince in 7th has just set his fastest lap as he looks to close the gap towards the front.
Down into turn 3 again then, Rossi Moore leads the way. Is Kuiper's going to have a look at the inside as they flick back right? No, not quite. That's the number 44 of Varga, still battling away in the group. Any one of these riders can still win the race. Like we mentioned, it's the top 3 really that have been setting the pace, let's say, but the others have been able to keep with them so far. And this, yeah, this really is anyone's, especially for the podium, of course. Top 3 all stand on the podium as Kuipers holds on to the lead there. Down into turn 7, it's caught a lot of riders out this weekend, but all good so far for the Northern Talent Cup riders as they now dive down into Garage O. You've got to look out for Schneider, who needs to take his long lap penalty. You can see it just there at the bottom of your screen, and here he goes then, takes long lap penalty. Now be careful, you don't want to run over the white lines, else you're going to have to do it again. It looks, yeah, just about all clean and nice. So unfortunately for Schneider, with 3.5 laps to go, that looks like it could be his podium hopes over. But as we've seen with Gottlicher, it's possible to reel them in. So let's see what Schneider can do from back there.
Yeah, it was very clean from Schneider going through, but it seems to be very costly as Veneman takes the lead once again. Rossi Moore in 2nd, and Kevin Farkas has moved up into 3rd with Noya Kuipers after dropping out. So it's now become a four-way fight for victory. Let's see what rookie Matteo Masili can do from 5th. He's lurking just behind this group.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Masili. As we mentioned, he had a 3-place grid penalty, so for him to claw his way from 9th on the grid up into 5th and in the podium fight, the number 46 there. So number 44 on the orange/red bike, long lap penalty for a shortcut at turn 10. So that's the fast chicane at the end of the back straight. You flick it left into turn 9 and right into turn 10. We see a lot of that, don't we, across the classes as Veneman goes up the inside of Rossi Moore to take the lead. Once again, we've not seen the Veneman lead for a good couple of laps now, but Veneman has made his move on Rossi Moore. Now is the pace going to start to heat up as we have 2 3/4 laps to go in race 1 here in Le Mans?
Yeah, I can only apologise to the Hungarian rider Tibor Varga, as the moment I tipped him to do something, it all went wrong for him. But I did see his bright orange bike, his bright orange KTM, move off the track, and I did think this was coming. I saw something when he was back in 5th place, but that seems to be his podium hopes over for today.
Yeah, unfortunately, number 44, he's going to have to take a long lap penalty with 2.5 laps to go, and if he doesn't, then he's going to have to be handed a time penalty at the end of the race. Who's that running wide there? That's going to allow the top two, I think that was Kuiper's running wide, yeah, the number 18. So, yeah, the number 28 of Farkas, who is up into 3rd place now, just taps the back of his bike. It might not be a bad tactic to try and reel in the top two, and now just edging clear, but as we see all the time in the Road to MotoGP, the Junior GP, Red Bull Rookies, Moto3, etc., when you tap the back of your bike to say, just follow me and we'll try and regroup and reel the leaders in, it doesn't quite work out that way. These are racers at the end of the day, and they're going to go as hard as they can for as long as they can in this race. So when they cross the line, it will be 2 laps to go, and it's Veneman leading from Rossi Moore. Let's have a look at the gap when they cross the line. You can see there, top right, it's half a second, but it looks like a little bit less than that now. We'll see as they come across the line with 2 laps to go. Still half a second in it, 0.494. As the 2 leaders peel across to the right-hand side of the track to try and evade the slipstream, but Rossi Moore has got a great run up into turns 1 and 2. Doesn't quite look like he's close enough there into turn 3, as Veneman, the number 77, sets the fastest lap of the race. So the pace really is hotting up as Kuiper's there. A little bit of a mistake again, and they are really now losing touch with the top 2, as you can see there. That gap looks to be around about a second now, so that's a long way to claw back in with less than 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Noah Kuiper's moving up into 3rd position with a brave move there coming through that chicane. He dived in. It looked like he was going to lose the drive coming out of the corner, but he managed to hold on and shut the door on Kevin Farkas. Maybe it would have been a better idea if they were to try and follow one another, because the gap now is quite big. There's over a second between them, I believe. So it looks like victory fight is between Moore and Veneman.
Certainly does, Chris. Yeah, you're right. And we've not had the long lap penalty for the number 44 being taken yet. So he's got 1 more lap to do it, has Varga, unless he's going to get a long lap penalty. But yeah, you're right, Chris. It does look like now, unless there's a little bit of drama, which we hope there isn't, that's the number 77 of Veneman and the number 92 of Rossi Moore have just edged clear at the crucial time in this race. And it looks like it's a 2-rider fight for victory, and then a whole host of riders still battling out for the final podium position. So it's going to be a fantastic final lap here in Le Mans. The fans have stayed, and the fans are getting treated to a brilliant, brilliant race here in the Northern Talent Cup in the beautiful sunny conditions. So, Chris, last lap time here, nearly in Le Mans. Who's your money on?
Oh, it's impossible to call. I don't know where to look, but I'm going to have to go for the experience of Rossi Moore. I think he's going to pin it up the inside, maybe around turns 10 and 11, and take the lead from there on Veneman using his experience.
Here we go then, final lap. 2 of them set the fastest lap of the race. Rossi Moore, the fastest of them all, a 49.918 as we come into the first real overtaking manoeuvre. Is he going to be close enough? No, not quite. So that's 1 down. A few more to go though for Rossi Moore. That's the good thing about Le Mans, it gets a little bit too close for comfort there in the battle for the final podium. The riders know that that is a podium place if you lead that group over the line, but we're going to focus on the leaders. It's Veneman still leading from Rossi Moore. They've completed La Chapelle, turn 6, and they'll fire it up the hill to Musée, turn 7. We've seen plenty of drama here already this weekend. Rossi Moore just decides to stick behind Veneman at this moment in time.
And we can see here rookie Matteo Massili has moved into the podium places, suffered a 3-place grid penalty, but that hasn't affected him too much. He's now up into the podium places, and he's got Noah Kuipers, Kevin Farkas and Martin Vince for company. Tibor Varga, he's missed out on the long lap penalty. He's going to receive a 3-second penalty, I believe, after the race for ignoring the rule.
Absolutely right, Chris. Now, focusing on the leaders. Number 92, Rossi Moore in the slipstream of number 77, Veneman, and Rossi Moore pulls up to the inside. The inside line is the line you want into turns 9. They'll flick it right into turn 10, and now Rossi Moore has the lead. So what can Veneman do on the final lap? Into the final sector, Veneman, number 77, looking up the inside, but not quite this time around. That's 1 passing manoeuvre gone. There's not many left to go now. Rossi Moore going a little bit defensive round turn 12. Is turn 13 going to be the place for Veneman? He gets it a little bit out of shape on the exit, so it looks like if Rossi Moore can hold it together through the final turns, and that's exactly what Rossi Moore does. Fire it out the last corner, and Rossi Moore wins opening race here in 2022 at Le Mans. And who takes the final podium? It is Masili, the rookie. Fantastic ride from 9th place on the grid. What a race the number 92 pulled together. Fastest lap on the final lap. Absolutely astonishing stuff. Veneman unlucky to lose out on the race win, but what a race. 0.166 seconds in it. Absolutely nothing to choose between them. But we did say, Chris, before the lights went out, that Rossi Moore probably comes into this year as the slight favourite after finishing 3rd in the overall standings last year, and he's proved with a race like that he really does mean business in 2022. What a race.
What a phenomenal race. Absolutely brilliant racing from lights out to the checkered flag. It was impossible to call the whole way through, but in the end it was the experience of Rossi Moore that shone through. Loris Veneman must be delighted. He's picked up, I believe, his first podium from the Northern Talent Cup, and what a ride from rookie Matteo Masili to take the final podium place. He held off the likes of Farkas and Noah Kuipers, who ended up down in 6th after challenging for the lead for the majority of the race.
Yeah, shame that for Kuipers, because yeah, you're correct, Chris. He was challenging for the lead for, well, a good 3/4 of the race, really, wasn't he? In the last 2-3 laps, maybe. Yeah, just got dropped down the order. They lost touch, didn't they, the chase for the final podium spot. But it was Matteo Masili who celebrates a podium. Fantastic ride from 9th on the grid, and it's fantastic also for these guys to be celebrating in front of fans, a lot of them as well. We had the inaugural season in 2020 cancelled through the pandemic, and then 2021, of course, was mostly raced without fans, and it's absolutely sensational to see them back trackside, and it's sensational to see them sticking around to watch the Northern Talent Cup boys. And I'm sure they think that it's a job well done from the Northern Talent Cup riders, as Rossi Moore pulls a fantastic wheelie to the fans over there.
Yeah, today's race, the race 1 in Northern Talent Cup, is the icing on the cake from an incredible day of MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3 and Moto E action. But this takes it for me with the battling from start to finish. Rossi Moore's kicked off his campaign perfect way, and he'll be looking to back it up in tomorrow's race, in race 2.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. The fans have certainly been treated, getting their money's worth. Fantastic stuff from the Northern Talent Cup, and that's just the start. We've got race 2 coming tomorrow. Here's a replay then of turn 3. I'm not sure what lap this is, but this is Veneman diving up the inside of Rossi Moore into the tricky left-hander where we saw some drama on the opening lap. Of course, we send our best wishes to the rider that was headed to the medal sinker. That was Laurent Laszlo, the number 21 rider. But this is the last lap then, turn 9. Rossi Moore getting into the slipstream and getting up the inside of the left-hander. We see plenty of overtaking there, and it was a job well done for Rossi Moore, and Veneman couldn't quite bite back. Rossi Moore strung a fantastic final few corners together, no mistake whatsoever from the Hungarian, and he crossed the line to pick up the first race victory of the season, his 4th overall in the class. A great wheelie as well to celebrate from Rossi Moore. The riders now pile back into Parc Fermé, I'm sure, very worn out and very tired. It's very, very hot conditions out there, tough conditions to be a rider in. Very nice conditions for us to be standing and watching, but yeah, you can imagine after such an intense race like that, they'll be certainly needing the drinks on board.
Absolutely, under that sun, in those leathers, under the helmet, I can only imagine they're tired, sweating, but delighted to be walking around Parc Fermé. Hugs all around. Well deserved, a brilliant race from Rossi Moore.
Yeah, correct, Chris, yeah. And you can see there on his levers, our good friend and colleague Jack Gores pointed it out yesterday. I didn't spot it when we were in the broadcaster set with him, but he's got the Pringles logo on his levers, which can only suggest that he's sponsored by Pringles, which for me is probably one of the coolest sponsors you can have. Correct me if I'm wrong, but having the Pringles man on your levers is a pretty cool thing to be able to sport. You can see it there on the left-hand side, so that's fantastic stuff for Rossi Moore. Not sure how he's bagged that. Obviously, Pringles is a very big brand, and obviously other crisp manufacturers, however you say, are available.
Yeah, it's something to brag about, and I'm going to apologise in advance for this terrible, terrible joke I'm about to make, but once you have one win, you can't stop. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Ah, Chris, excellent. I'll rate that.
I apologise to whoever's listening. I'll try not to make those jokes anymore.
So then the riders getting well-earned hugs. They're all good friends here in the Northern Talent Cup paddock. It's a very tight-knit community, of course. They're all on the first step in their road to MotoGP. It's one of the few Talent Cup that Dorna has set up so brilliantly. It helps riders from Central and Northern Europe to begin their pathway really to the World Championship into Junior GP and the Red Bull Rookies. We should mention actually that the winners, or at least the top two, get a chance to ride in the Red Bull Rookies, and another two get a chance to be in the selection process for the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. So yeah, it really is a great stepping stone as we look at the final results then. Rossi Moore taking it by a whisker, 0.166 seconds over Loris Veneman. Masili in third place. Kevin Farkas and Vince rounded out the top five, with Kuipers dropping down into sixth place on the last couple of laps, with Gottlicher, a great comeback from Luca Gottlicher, the German, into seventh, with Varga after the penalty in eighth place. Ninth was Dustin Schneider. He also took a long lap penalty, with Rocco Sessler rounding out the top 10. Lennox Vermara was 11th, ahead of Maxime Schmidt, Jorian van Kruten, Michel Prokes and Loris Dekkers completing the point scorers.
Yeah, and we can see the rest of the riders here. Novotny, Levin Fomara, the younger brother of Lennox, Rio Olofsson, Greven, Lorink, Koenen, Filipenko, Holzer and Herlich. None of them managed to finish among the points. There were three non-finishers, the last three you saw there, but they'll have another chance to pick up their first points of the season in the race tomorrow.
That's the best thing about it, isn't it? We can look forward to tomorrow's race, race 2, coming your way at 4:30 local time after the festivities of Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP and Moto E. Here's the Riders' Championship. It's obviously fairly simple after the opening race of the season. It's exactly where they finish, at 25 points for Rossi Moore, with Veneman and Masili taking the podium spots and a healthy number of points from race 1, and there is your other point scorer, Sessler, Famara, Schmidt, Van Kruten and Prokes and Dekkers. And now they'll celebrate on the podium in front of fans. Of course, they won't be able to spray the bubbly. They'll have to wait a few more years for that. Of course, the Northern Talent Cup riders range from ages 12 to 17. But standing on the podium at Le Mans, I mean, it doesn't get too much better than that, does it? What a historic racetrack, what a historic podium it is. And when you're just starting out on your roads, on your dream pathway to the MotoGP World Championship, standing on podiums that your heroes have stood on is absolutely brilliant. I can only imagine what that feels like for these guys.
Yeah, you've taken the words right out of my mouth. A historic city, historic racing city, famous all over the world. The chance to stand on the podium as a top 3 rider, it's an experience only a select few get to actually live, so it's something that they'll have for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, exactly, and made all the more brilliant with the fans just making their way down there to watch the podium celebrations. They're all sticking around. I can see them just outside the corner if you watch Ringo, plenty of them, as Rossi Moore holds aloft the #1 trophy for the 4th time as we get ready for the national anthem. Fantastic stuff then for Rossi Moore, celebrating race 1 victory, backing up that fantastic pole position he took on Friday evening. And we get to do it all over again tomorrow afternoon, like we say, in the Northern Talent Cup. Race 2 from Le Mans coming your way at 4:30 local time, so do stick around for that after the Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP and Moto E races, as we then have a look at the highlights from race 1. And it was Rossi Moore starting from pole position, and a great start it was as well. Justin Schneider there, number 20, and Veneman, the number 77, and it was the number 28 of Kevin Farkas who got a great start from the outside, inside of the third row. As we saw drama at the first corner, 4 riders going down there. Thankfully, or hopefully, all riders are okay. We'll bring you confirmation of that when we get it. But Rossi Moore then led from the front and didn't really allow anyone to have the lead for long. He kept biting back as Kuipers and Veneman took the lead, shared the lead. That's down into turn 6 of La Chapelle, and it was a fantastic battle throughout there. You can see Veneman diving up the inside at the famous turn 3. That was Schneider running wide there across turn 4. That handed the German a long lap penalty. Some nice slow-mo action, of course, as always here on the World Championship scene. There was Kuipers then, the number 18, leading the way. There's a lead group of 8 formed, and then it was soon a lead group of 9 when Luca Gottlicher joined the fray. Plenty of overtaking moves down into turns 9. That was Schneider taking his long lap penalty there, all safe and sound, but unfortunately that did cost the front row starter a chance of a podium. And this was that last lap then, Rossi Moore making his overtake down into turn 9, and Rossi Moore didn't make a mistake round the final few corners, held it together to pip Veneman to race 1 victory by just over 1/10 of a second. A fantastic way to kick things off in the 2022 Northern Talent Cup season. We get to do it all over again tomorrow. Thanks for your company, Chris. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely, an absolutely brilliant way to kick off the season, and I thoroughly enjoyed it and cannot wait until 4:30 tomorrow when we get to do it all again.
Absolutely. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you later.